As I just said, former rugby league star Terry Campese has announced today he's withdrawing as Labor's candidate for Monaro ahead of the New South Wales state election. It comes after the release of a video that showed the Queanbeyan local at a rather debaucherous, I guess you could call it, party. Today, another story dropped that he'd visited a drug-dealing friend inside prison to raise funds for his youth charity. Now, I'm not saying Mr Campese is perfect, nor am I saying the New South Wales Labor Party was right to make a captain's pick and skip pre-selection. But what I will say is, based on the evidence presented thus far, that the world has gone completely mad. The video is a little bit tacky, absolutely, not to my taste. Embarrassing for him, completely. But there was no law broken, no crime committed. It featured a group of consenting adults. The women were all there by choice, as clearly were the men. Are we seriously, as a society, now saying that if you have ever been to, say, a bucks party or participated in something a little seedy, that you are not fit for office? If this is the standard we are now setting for our political class, good luck. Campese might have poor taste in parties, but I tell you what, his foundation, focused on helping young people in need, has raised over $1 million. He's spent a large portion of his post-NRL life trying to better his community, making a real, genuine difference. Shouldn't voters have been able to decide if what was caught on camera passed their pub test or not? He might not say it, and I suspect he probably won't, but I believe he's been pushed here. At the very least, not backed in by the party to push on, to weather this storm. Remember Kevin Rudd? Of course you do.
I think any bloke, reflecting back on their own lives, realise there are a few times where they just got it wrong.
Remember the strip club? What do you think happens inside a strip club? Reckon it might look a little like that party? Maybe worse. And look, there are undoubtedly Australians who might have wished that had ended Rudd's prospects right then and there. But he apologised and he went on to become Prime Minister. The real grubs here are the people trying to use footage like this in a malicious way. Do you really, and think about it, think that this was leaked because the people responsible were genuinely worried the former Raiders captain was a risk to society or wasn't fit to serve his people? Of course not. It is purely political. Now, I'm not mates with Campese, by the way. I'm not up here trying to stand up for a friend. I'd never spoken to him on the phone prior to this week. Never socialised with him, clearly. But I know people in that community well, and I've heard so much about the good stuff that he's done and that he's doing. And I'm annoyed he won't even get the chance now to continue that in a more powerful way. Character in Parliament matters absolutely. But making a mistake of this nature, if you even consider it to be that, or doing something silly, doesn't make you a bad person. And hold on tight if you're parents. If it's bad now when it comes to moments caught on camera you'd rather forget, we ain't seen nothing yet. Younger Australians' entire lives have been recorded on camera and many of them shared online. It's only going to get worse. We need to think very seriously about where we draw the line. How do we determine who is worthy and who isn't? I wrote in my newspaper column today about Bob Hawke. There are things we now know about the former PM, some of the goings-on behind the scenes during his prime ministership, that would have raised an eyebrow or two, pun intended, and in some ways potentially far more damaging than what we are seeing here. Had it been filmed and released, it almost definitely would have influenced the electorate's judgment of Bob the person. But Bob the Prime Minister, probably not. Given his achievements and the acceptance by most that he left this country in better shape, might his fellow Australians, the jury, the people that matter, have still stuck with him and returned a verdict that the end justified the means. Now, if something were to be released that involved illegal behaviour, say vision of someone selling military secrets to Russia or exhibiting behaviour that is deemed completely unacceptable for obvious reasons, they should be held to account, of course. But we have to remain rational here. Compromising our standards is often identified as taking a step towards a slippery slope that can lead to significant damage. In each case of these sensational revelations, we need to ensure those standards we believe we are protecting are those which bring integrity and value to our processes and governance. We are undoubtedly the losers, not a potential candidate, if we keep getting that wrong. Well, Terry Campese joins me now exclusively. Terry, what a day, really, what a couple of weeks. First of all, how are you?
Good evening, Erin. It has been one hell of a ride, to say the least. It's, this started just before Christmas and I was going into unfamiliar territory. I was tapped on the shoulder just before Christmas, asking to put my hand up if I'd be interested in the run for the seedy Monaro on the Labor ticket. And it took some thinking, to be honest. I took a week or so to really see what was involved. A lot of people that I spoke to said that I was silly to get involved and how dirty politics can get. And we've seen that start to come to light over the past 2 weeks. And I didn't expect it to get as dirty as what it has. But at the end of the day, I did it for the right reasons. I did it for the community. I've absolutely loved getting to know all the Labor members and all the volunteers, the ones on the ground who do all the hard work and getting out to the community and the snowy Monaro area especially. I haven't really worked in that area in the past and I've thoroughly enjoyed that part, and I'm very disappointed in the decision that I've come to, and I really wanted to be there for the community, and I feel that I've let the community down because I still believe that I would make a really good local representation for the community and be able to push their voice forward.
Terry, why did you stand down?
Yeah, it took some, a couple of days to come to this decision. There was obviously, we've had some stories leaked, through some people that, obviously aren't there for the community. They don't want to think of the good things, the good news stories. There's been, a lot of digging around to try and come up with some of these stories. There was the first one that was leaked was, the way that the headlines, said that what kind of party it was. It wasn't. If anyone has seen the video, that the first frame or the second frame is that big happy birthday. It was a birthday party. There was a bit of a cheeky theme to the party. Do I wish the video didn't get out? Yes. Is it embarrassing for the kids? When you read the headlines and see some of the pictures, yes, it is, but it was just a cheeky theme. We went to this birthday party and had a good time, and it is one that I wish never got out there. And these are the things that I, thought of before putting my hand up to be the candidate, and I didn't think that people out there would try and, frame that some of these occasions completely different. There was a news article that broke today about me visiting a mate in jail, and I'll stick by him and I'll be there till the end, until he's out, and I'm still really good friends with his family. So why is the story about going to visit him and not about the really good work that this jail has done? There was a story, early in the week about a branch member that didn't want me to run and thought it was unfair. 2 days before that newspaper article broke, we raised $330,000 for local community through the generous donations of our members, and that should be a story. And these should be the stories, not the negative ones. So that's what I'm very disappointed in. And there's actually some other things going on in the background. I'm going through, which was also stated early on, that I'm going through a bit of a separation at the moment. And when that is the focus, when you're looking at your family getting involved and being in the paper, that's when you need to make the tough decision, and that's what I've had to do to protect my family. I've got 2 beautiful young kids, and I don't want them to be waking up each and every day wondering where Dad's going to be in the paper, where it should be all the positive stuff. And this is where we've gone as a community at the moment. It's pretty disgusting, to be honest.
That party, did anything illegal occur at that party?
Definitely not. Like I said earlier, it was a bit of a cheeky theme to the birthday party. I wish that it was the headline that it was a cheeky birthday party. That and it probably wouldn't have got the traction that it did. Do I wish it never come out? 100%. Am I embarrassed by some of the photos? Yes.
Do you wish you hadn't gone, or do you stand by the fact that adults are allowed to as long as they're all consenting, go to things like that and do what they like in their private time?
Yeah, I think I'll definitely go again. It's a good friend's birthday party. They don't show the photos of people dressed up in feet and people fully clothed. They pick and choose which photos they put on the headlines, and yeah, disappointed on how it got out there and how it was portrayed, and that's that's the disappointing thing in the current environment that I'm in.
Were you pressured or told by the New South Wales Labor Party to stand down?
Definitely not. This come to my decision. Like I said, I've grown up in Queanbeyan. I'm born and raised. I've got all my family. My mum's been out campaigning for me. She is not a political person at all. She is a swing voter. She votes for the people, and she's been out with a red T-shirt. And last thing I need and want is for my community to be waking up each and every day wondering what the headline's going to be. And especially my mum, my kids, my extended family, they are so supportive. The community is so supportive, and it's just disappointing how this has played out. Can
I ask you, and I know I told you I wouldn't, so you can just ignore me and tell me you're not going to answer, but it just feels like such a waste. As I said earlier in my introduction, over $1 million raised for charity. You've done so much incredible community work. Would you consider running as an independent?
I don't even know what that means, Erin. So, yeah, the charity work will continue, and it will continue forever. The amount of emails that I've received over the last couple of weeks, the more that people understand the program that we have. We've got so many kids, so many families wanting to join our youth mentor program, and the traction we've got with this Special Forces Challenge is absolutely mind-blowing. We raised $330,000 this year with the community. Last year was $230,000, so we're just getting bigger. And I'll never ever stop that charity work, no matter where I am and what I'm doing. And the community support today, with the announcement this morning, is absolutely brought me to tears at some points today, and that's just being brutally honest. It's been pretty amazing and overwhelming to see that the community has got behind me. The amount of messages, my battery went flat at 2 o'clock this afternoon, the first time in my life that my phone has just been exploded with. You mean even with support,
when you made your State of Origin debut? More messages than that.
Definitely. Actually, it's true. I had my 5110 back then, so
you're Nokia.
But yeah, it's been overwhelming. I'm blown away, and the people that we get to make these announcements with. I mentioned the school. Like, there's community groups that have been advocating, and to be able to help them deliver it. This is their project. It's got nothing to do with myself. I'm just their voice in this position, and that's what I'm going to miss, and that's what I'm. Yeah, very, very sad about giving up, but at the end of the day, it's about my family and it's about them as well.
Terry, last question. You're not perfect, none of us are. Are you a good person who would have made a good contribution to public life?
Oh, I'd like to think 100%. Right back at the start, like I said, we took a week or so to make the decision, and we did a risk assessment. We went through everything that I've done in my past, and like you said, 100% I'm not perfect. I've had fun, I have gone out with friends, I'm friends with people that have done stupid things in their life, but I'll support them through thick and thin, and I'll support my community no matter what it takes. And I was willing to do anything it took to be there for them and work around the clock. And that's what I did for the just over a month in this position. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it's one that I take my hat off to everyone in this position, because I have definitely learned a lot. And I just can't believe how cruel it can be behind the scenes, and what people will do to be in power and to try and take people down that are just trying to do the right thing for the community.
Yeah, well, I've said this publicly. I wrote this in my column today. I said this just a few moments ago. I think it is such a waste, and I'm really disappointed that this has happened. We're not friends. I worked in Canberra 15 years ago. I only spoke to you on the phone for the first time this week. So this is not me just sticking up for a mate. I genuinely think this is a huge loss for not just New South Wales, but our country. And I hope, potentially federally maybe, or as an independent, in some way we see you enter politics, because I think you'd make a great contribution. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having my time, and thank you for all the support out there.